The Trump administration's war on the judiciary has escalated after arresting a Milwaukee County judge accused of blocking ICE agents. Federal grand jury has indicted Judge Hannah Dugan on Tuesday after she was accused of trying to help an undocumented immigrant evade arrest by Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents. Dugan, 66, was arrested late last month for allegedly helping undocumented migrant Eduardo Flores-Ruiz, a Mexican national, in court on battery charges avoid ICE agents. Dugan is charged with concealing a person from arrest and obstruction of proceedings and faces up to 6 years in prison and a maximum fine of $350,000 if convicted. Jeez. According to the 13-page federal complaint, Dugan helped Flores-Ruiz, who appeared in her courtroom for a pretrial conference last month after she learned that ICE agents were at the courthouse seeking his arrest. An FBI affidavit described Dugan as visibly angry at the arrival of ICE agents in her courtroom. But see, that affidavit doesn't tell the entire story. The reason that she was angry is because the ICE agents were not respecting the due process. Okay. Now, it makes sense, though, that she was angry because what are these idiots doing in my courtroom without the right kind of warrant? Now, she then is accused of escorting Flores-Ruiz out of the courtroom through a side jury door to avoid these federal agents. Of course, that didn't work. He was later taken into custody and all that. So here's the thing. Considering that this man was already in the justice system, what's the issue? Where's the issue here? The issue with the agents of ICE is the fact that they were not following due process. Remember, since 2019, there was a federal policy that existed for ICE to refrain from making routine arrests at courthouses. She then, of course, questioned the agents in the hallway and asked them whether or not they had the correct warrant. You need a judicial warrant. Instead, what they had was an administrative warrant, which is the wrong kind of warrant to make an arrest inside of a courtroom. Dugan then told the agents, come back when you've got a real warrant, a judicial warrant, and told them to speak to Chief Judge Carl Ashley. They refused. They didn't care, again, because they don't care about due process, and they went and arrested Flores-Ruiz anyway. And so that's what's going on here. So, look, due process is supposed to be, it's constitutionally protected, okay, and says that due process shall be afforded to everyone who is in the United States. That's it. Doesn't matter if you are documented or undocumented. Everyone here in the United States, physically present, must have due process. They didn't follow that, ICE. And yet she's the one who gets arrested and indicted. Absolutely ridiculous. Look, here's the thing. The whole point of doing this is to scare the judges. The Trump administration has been fighting with the judiciary because judges keep having to stop them from doing illegal things, which includes defying judicial rulings. Okay. Even when it comes to the Supreme Court. Okay. The Trump administration's ignoring the Supreme Court. But of course, that is what happens when you give authoritarians immunity. Gee, John Roberts, bet you're really, regretting that one, huh? Giving this madman immunity from everything? You knew, maybe you didn't, but you should have known that these people are going to use that immunity to break the law with no repercussions, okay? And look, not only that, but the administration has called for the impeachment of removal of judges who issued the rulings which are counter to things that Donald Trump wants. That's it. And now they're taking the next step when they're just arresting judges. Even though they're the ones who, again, violated due process. Of course. Of course. This is a lawless administration, and I've been saying that quite for quite some time. And while this arrest is the first, Judge, I have a feeling that it will not be the last, Judge. Now, in a statement to Newsweek following the indictment, Dugan's lawyer, Craig Mastituano, said that his client, quote, asserts her innocence and looks forward to being vindicated in court following this unnecessary arrest. And again, unnecessary 100%. In fact, you had the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel that quoted 5 legal experts, including former federal prosecutors, that said that they do not believe Dugan should have been charged with a federal crime to begin with. Christopher Wellborn, president of the National Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, said that American democracy rests upon the independence of the judiciary, and any retaliatory action from the executive branch that appears to undermine this foundation demands our unwavering scrutiny and a resounding response. That's one of them. There's more. Retired Massachusetts Supreme Court Justice Geraldine Hines said that this kind of prosecution is just an effort to intimidate judges. Monica Isham, a circuit court judge in Sawyer County, Wisconsin, emailed other state judges asking, guidance requested, or I refuse to hold court. Damn. In the email, she noted that she had sworn an oath to uphold both the U.S. and Wisconsin constitutions and said, I have no intention of allowing anyone to be taken out of my courtroom by ICE and sent to a concentration camp. So, yes, finally, you got people labeling what it is, because that's exactly what it is. See, we're talking about CCOT here, okay, for terrorists, ostensibly, but not really, not in practice, because they're sending innocent people there, people without criminal. About 75%, 3/4 of all the people that have been sent by the Trump administration to CCOT have no criminal record whatsoever. No, it's a concentration camp, 100%. Especially, she added, without due process, as both of the constitutions we swore to support requires. That's a strong response. Strong response. But nonetheless, it doesn't really matter to the Trump administration because they're not listening. They do not care. Trump has turned ICE into his own personal brown shirt army. Hey, the people that were saying, myself included, abolish ICE? Turns out we were right. Yeah, but it's not just abolishing ICE is not good enough anymore. You see, that was the compromise position. No, the real position should be to arrest and prosecute members of ICE after abolishing this, this criminal organization. That said, this will likely not be the last attack on the judiciary from this regime. The constitutional crisis, it is no longer coming. It is already here. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you become a member on our YouTube page, you become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.